Eugene of Savoy, 1663 to 1736, is indeed considered one of the greatest generals of the early modern period. His military genius, diplomatic skills, and administrative reforms had a lasting impact on the Habsburg Empire and on European warfare in general. Here's a summary of why he holds such a reputation. Military brilliance: wars against the Ottoman Empire, Battle of Zenta, 1697. One of his most decisive victories. He crushed the Ottoman army on the banks of the Tisa River, killing over 20,000 troops and securing Hungary for the Habsburgs. Siege of Belgrade, 1717. A dramatic victory against the odds, retaking Belgrade and sealing Austria's dominance in southeastern Europe. War of the Spanish Succession, 1701-1714, collaborated closely with John Churchill, Duke of Marlborough, achieving great victories such as Battle of Blenheim, 1704, Battle of Oudenarde, 1708, Battle of Malplaquet, 1709. These halted French ambitions and preserved the balance of power in Europe. War of the Polish Succession and later campaigns. Though older by then, Eugene remained a central figure in military and diplomatic strategy, helping shape post-war European military reformer, reorganized the Habsburg army into a professional, disciplined force. Patron of the arts, built the Belvedere Palace in Vienna and fostered Enlightenment values. Diplomatic clout, served on the Habsburg Council of State and was instrumental in negotiating peace treaties. Revered by later military minds including Frederick the Great and Napoleon. Regarded as a perfect example of a soldier-statesman, balancing battlefield success with administrative prowess. Into Eugene of Savoy's significance by comparing him to other major generals of the early modern era, and then assess his enduring legacy in European history. Comparative analysis: Eugene versus his peers. Eugene of Savoy versus John Churchill, Duke of Marlborough. Similarity: both were masters of maneuver warfare and coordination. Their cooperation during the War of the Spanish Succession was legendary. Rarely have two commanders worked so seamlessly together. Key difference: Marlborough was more politically constrained at home, due to court intrigues and shifting alliances, while Eugene had more sustained authority in the Habsburg court. Eugene versus Henri de la Tour d'Auvergne. Vicomte de Turenne was an earlier generation, died in 1675, but was a master tactician in France's service. Turenne's genius was in flexible tactics and adaptability, often winning with fewer men. Eugene, by contrast, combined battlefield brilliance with strategic vision and logistics mastery. His campaigns often reshaped entire geopolitical regions, especially in southeastern Europe. Eugene versus Frederick the Great. Frederick II of Prussia admired Eugene and studied his campaigns. He once said, "I regard Prince Eugene and the Duke of Marlborough as the only two great generals of the last age." Frederick was more independent in command and brought a more Enlightenment-influenced approach, but Eugene laid much of the groundwork in terms of modern army discipline and training. Eugene versus Napoleon Bonaparte. Though a generation apart, Napoleon deeply respected Eugene's aggressive and bold style. Eugene lacked the total political power Napoleon wielded, but was perhaps more measured and cautious when necessary, a mix of daring and prudence, strategic legacy preserver of the Habsburg Empire. Without Eugene, the Ottoman threat might have continued to devastate Central Europe. He preserved and even expanded the empire's frontiers, particularly in Hungary, the Balkans, and northern Italy. Prototype of the Enlightenment commander. Despite being a fierce warrior, Eugene was also a man of letters, a collector of art, and an advocate of Enlightenment ideals. He fostered cultural growth in Vienna and was a key figure in transforming it into an imperial capital of intellect and power. Master of combined arms warfare. He excelled at coordinating infantry, cavalry, and artillery, often overcoming numerically superior forces. His logistical preparations and use of terrain often gave him decisive tactical advantages. Why Eugene ranks among the greatest few generals had such a long and successful career, over 40 years in command. Multi-front. Mastery. He won against the Ottomans, French, and Italian powers, very different theaters of war. Statesmanship. Eugene wielded influence not just on the battlefield, but in the imperial court and European diplomacy. Inspiration. He shaped military thought for generations to come. His campaigns are still studied in military academies. Eugene of Savoy's campaigns, particularly the Battle of Zenta, 1697, and the Siege of Belgrade, 1717, two of his most spectacular victories. These show his genius in operational warfare, bold decision-making, and ability to outthink numerically superior foes. Battle of Zenta, 1697, part of the Great Turkish War, 1683 to 1699, which followed the failed Ottoman siege of Vienna. Eugene was appointed commander of the imperial army in Hungary at just 34 years old. The Ottoman army, led by Sultan Mustafa II, aimed to cross the Tisza River and resume the offensive into Hungary. Eugene's situation: outnumbered. Ottomans had around 80,000. Eugene had 50,000. He learned of the enemy's vulnerable position while crossing the Tisza at Zenta. Eugene did, instead of waiting or retreating, he launched a surprise attack as the Ottomans were mid-river crossing, completely disorganizing them. His troops attacked from high ground, firing into the jammed Turkish forces and creating chaos. Ottoman casualties: estimated 20,000, 30,000 dead or captured. Habsburg casualties: fewer than 500. The Ottomans never recovered their offensive capability. The victory forced them to sign the Treaty of Karlowitz, 1699, ending centuries of Ottoman expansion into Central Europe. Siege of Belgrade, 1717. During the Austro-Turkish War, 1716 to 1718, Eugene's goal was to secure southeastern Europe and prevent another Ottoman resurgence. Challenge Belgrade was one of the most heavily fortified cities in Europe, defended by over 30,000 Ottoman troops. Eugene faced a relieving Ottoman force of over 100,000 soldiers. Eugene's strategy: he laid siege to the fortress, but kept an eye on the Ottoman relief army approaching. Instead of waiting to be attacked, he struck first, launching a night assault during a thunderstorm on August 16, 1717. His cavalry and grenadiers punched through Ottoman lines with surprise and fury. Ottoman casualties: over $20,000. Eugene took Belgrade within days. Led to the Treaty of Passarowitz, 1718, which gave Austria control of northern Serbia, parts of Wallachia, and more. It marked the high water mark of Habsburg power in the Balkans, cemented Eugene's status as the empire's savior and supreme commander. Eugene's strategic principles here are a few timeless lessons from his campaigns: initiative and aggression. He believed in offensive action, even under risk. Intelligence use: he used scouts and informants masterfully, e.g., ambushing at Zenta. Surprise and timing, key to Zenta and Belgrade. He struck when the enemy was least prepared. Combined arms coordination: infantry, cavalry, and artillery worked together with precise timing. Logistical foresight: he ensured supplies were pre-positioned, allowing rapid movement in hostile territory.